Hello, everybody. This is the officially unofficial Geek Channel Spoilertastic Weekly Comic Review. Yes, indeedy, I am here. I am doing the comic review this week. I missed last week, but that's okay. I just had a shit ton to read and not enough time to do it in. And so we're just fast forwarding forward into now and doing this week's comic review. Guys, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Not much to talk about, not much to say. Check out everything on the channel. Recently, Joe and I did a from the car analysis and talk about the recent season finale of The Mandalorian. If you have not checked that out, please check it out. Um, as usual, this is a spoiler-tastic review, which means comic book wise, guys, if you have not read your comic books, in particular, a lot of DC comic books, some indie, y'all, um, go ahead and finish your comic books, come back and take a look at this video. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so. Please please like me. Um, anyways, guys, let's go ahead and let's get into it. Lately, we've been doing the whole. I'm going to tell you about all the comics I read and then highlight my top three for this week. And that's exactly how we're going to do it this time. You guys like my new headphones? I love them. I hope you do too. Got them at Five Below. And I'm pretty freaking proud of them. I'm pretty happy with them, and I hope you guys like them as well. Anyways, guys, let's get into the comics for this week. First book that we're going to talk about Superboy, The Man of Tomorrow. Now, this is the round robin winner for this past year. The last year's round robin winner was the Robins book. I literally read one issue of it and then didn't read anymore. I'm probably going to give Superboy, The Man of Tomorrow, another read. It was an okay book. It wasn't anything like really exciting or anything. We've got Porter and Lindsay on this one. And, you know, it was all right. It was all right. In this story, Superboy is feeling a little bit like he is underutilized. Let's say utilized. Underutilized Superboy right here. And he is frustrated that he can't be of more help to Metropolis and the world as a whole because we just got a lot of super family here. And he decides he's going to go looking on other planets to help out. And he potentially runs into something that might be a little much for him to handle. And that's kind of where we left off. He goes looking for other planets, other beacons of distress. He takes a few ill-advised pieces from the Fortress of Solitude, and he goes on his way. That's pretty much the gist of it. Pretty clean artwork, pretty clean story. You know, not really a lot there to really make anyone get really excited. Um, so I'm thinking what happens in the second issue is really going to make or break this book for me. Um, so we'll take a look. We did have a bit of a cliffhanger. It looks like um, there might be competition for um, taking care of this world in the form of another group coming in. And that's kind of where this left off. It really is going to be the next book. Um, kind of a make or break situation, how that's handled in the story as a whole. Um, like I said, there is a good story arc started here potentially, and you definitely got the potential for it to go somewhere. I mean, you got the definite beginning, the problem presenting itself for Superboy and his potential um, solution to the problem, then the potential solution for the problem having a problem itself. So we'll see what happens with the second issue. Like I said, how this progresses really in the second issue, I think is really going to make or break this. I did not stick around very much through the Robins. Um, Last year's round robin winner. Um, so we'll see what happens with Superboy. Let's see here. The next book I'm going to talk about is Static #3. Static Shadows of Dakota #3. Um, Nothing really. We've got kind of one of these situations where um, you have the recognized threat that's probably more possibly, if I'm understanding what I'm reading correctly, a little bit misunderstood, um, where there's a larger threat that potentially might be something that the perceived threat and our heroes have to deal with together. We have a little bit of help in this story from members of the book Blood Syndicate. Tech Nine, I like Tech Nine. I like that character, uh, and shows up and is dealing with the dark being and is finding out more about that situation. Static is pretty much still in this whole level where he's finding things out and putting things together, and plus he's also a teenager. He's dealing with what he deals with as a teenager, and the one thing that really caused me to pause, and maybe, and this is not even really that big of a deal, but it's world building issues here. I'm sitting there as a 41-year-old woman reading Nicholas Draper Ivy and their script plus Vida Ayala's art, which nothing really problematic art wise. There's some really nice moments, especially when Tech Nine and other members of Blood Syndicate are um, encountering the Dark One, right? And really nice formed moments there. However, I'm just gonna put this out there, guys. It's not even really a huge problem with the world building and script and everything like that. I'm a 40-year-old woman. I grew up in the time period of Wayne's World. I grew up in that whole, time period, and I'm just wondering, is it do teenagers today still use the whole I'm really excited to be there not kind of thing? Do teenagers still do that? Because I'm unaware. I was pretty sure that that was something that was not done anymore. And Nicholas Draper Ivy there's a moment where that is written in the script and a teenager is saying it. Like one of Virgil's friends is saying it. He's saying, "Oh, I'm just so I forget exactly what it was that he said. He's like, I'm just so excited to be there." Not, and I'm just like, do teenagers still say that? I mean, if teenagers still say that, that's cool. That's just something that struck me as weird and kind of was like, what year is this? What year are we in? Like, am I, because as a 41-year-old, I look back and I said that stupid, I said that stuff too, Looking back is just like, I said that stuff when I was their age. Do kids still say that? Because sometimes kids still say that stuff or say stuff that, and not necessarily that because I'm questioning whether kids say that or not, right? But I'm just wondering, do kids still use that whole Wayne's World, I'm just so excited to be there, not like thing, right? Let me know if you have a teenager and if they still do that. Thank you. Next book that we're going to talk about is we're going to move over to the Marvel side, guys, and we've got Blood Rain, or not Blood Rain, excuse me, this is not Blood Rain, still a vampire, but Bloodline, Daughter of Blade. Danny Lore, um, who did the art on this? Because it's not half bad. I know Danny Lore is a writer. Let me pull this out and tell you who did some art here. Okay, so Karen S. Darbo, Chris Peter, and the letterer here is VC's Joe Sabino. Let's see here. Yeah, Danny Lore is telling a really good story that adults can read. Fans that are adults that are fans of Blade can definitely get something from this, especially since it is a comic book that has Blade as a character, not just because we're at this point where in the last issue, continuing into this one, Blade has shown up because he has heard that his daughter has some of his same abilities and is catching trouble because of it. So it's not just an issue of her being the daughter of Blade. She also has Danther situation going on, right? So this issue is basically teenage rebellion that goes wrong. That basically it's very much the whole kind of like concept of, okay, so this is, we can't really convince you to kind of take a back seat, kid. So okay, if we can't convince you to take a back seat, kid, we're going to go ahead and we're going to make sure that you have everything you need. We have basically most of the book is Blade getting his daughter out of trouble, Blade getting to meet his daughter for you know, because the last time Blade was in the same room with his daughter before now, she was a baby, and so now he's going to train his daughter, and we have a little visit from Deacon Frost. He is planning on causing trouble for both Brielle and Blade by taking Brielle's mother. We got a lot of really good kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Why does it escape my brain all of a sudden? The word I'm looking for. We all know the word I'm looking for. Y'all are yelling it wherever you're watching or listening to this. You're like, she means. Oh my god. Where the hell is my brain, guys? Cliffhanger. You're all on a cliff waiting for me to say cliffhanger. We got some good cliffhangers this week in some of our comics here. Good setups for next issues. Speaking of good setups for next issues, we've got Nightwing number 103. Yes, we are still building up to the point where Nightwing is still going to be Nightwing. However, we are dealing with the whole Titans kind of situation where they are literally going to hell. So Raven, Beast Boy, Cyborg, and Nightwing are going to hell to investigate this whole issue with the little girl's soul. And the little girl is the daughter of Blockbuster, and Blockbuster sold her soul to Neuron. So they are going to hell. Batgirl, Barbara Gordon, Batgirl Prime, as I refer to her. Batgirl Prime, Donna Troy, and Starfire are taking the girl and Batwing, Haley, to Themyscira. Neuron has other plans. He leaves hell because, like any job, if you want to get it done right, do it yourself, is his, viewpoint. So he's going to go and explore and figure out what the hell went wrong in his plan. Groovy. However, he breaks the Smiling Man out of jail. He calls in other favors from Dr. What is it, Dr. Photon or something like Photon? I forget, guys. But he calls in his favor, and there's Gorilla Grog is there, and they all go to Themyscira, and the Smiling Man impersonates Wonder Woman. And when Wonder Woman brutally attacks the little girl, they know something's up, right? So he exposes himself, and that's going on, and Themyscira's under attack. Meanwhile, Nightwing and company has found the contract. And it's really funny because, like, hell is like a bureaucracy. Hell is like a really horrible bureaucracy where there are computers and too much crap on the computers and contracts on paper, yo. And they figure out a little bit more information about who this little girl is and who her parents are besides Blockbuster. So her mother is Jet. And they talk a little funny business about Batman having a little relationship with her until he realizes she was a murderous criminal that was going to kill him. They remark about how Talia al Ghul, decapitated her. Yeah. So then they discover, and this is something that's kind of weird. So they discover that only one parent signed off on this, that there was no other guardian that signed off on this little girl's soul. So they think that they're going to make Nightwing her foster parents. I don't quite get the legality with that, but you know what? This is comic books. And this has to also deal with the selling of a little girl's soul, which is complete horse shit anyways. So I'll accept it. I'll let it go. And I'll accept it. I am just going to talk about this. Neuron shows up, wants to offer Nightwing superpowers if he gives up the little girl. What is the deal with this little girl? Why is she so important? I don't get it personally, but okay, we've got this wonderful little Nightwing book that's turned into a Titans book. Hopefully, goes back to being just a Nightwing book when the Titans book starts. However, my service to you, comic book reading public and community, is to say this: remember Heartless. Remember Heartless. Don't forget Heartless in case he happens to come back up again. Thank you. Anyways, it's my little public service to y'all. Cheers. Moving on, let's talk about Darkwing Duck. Dynamite Darkwing Duck #4, written by Diabert and art by Loraro. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Every month, Darkwing Duck is a nice little reprieve from more serious subject matter. It's a lot of fun. Bloodline here that I was talking about a little bit ago, is a really good book if you want to get young adult girls that like vampires into comic books. It's a recommendation I would make. Darkwing Duck is great for all ages, and it's a little bit of fun. It's a little bit of a palate cleanser. I always wait until the end to read Darkwing Duck when it comes out. It's just really enjoyable to me. I really enjoy it. Here we have it is like the cartoon. There is an overarching storyline. However, it is not that difficult to jump in. So it's episodic in nature, and it's not that difficult to jump just into it. We have Buckroot wreaking havoc. Darkwing Duck is in retirement. He is holding strong and true to that until it just stops working out for him. And he has that fierce urgency of now, and he has to become Darkwing Duck and give up the fact that he can be anything other than Darkwing Duck. And they do a little cute little Darkwing Knight Returns thing line in there, and it's really cute. And so Darkwing Duck is back, and yeah, I am very much. We know that there is a bigger kind of thing happening here, in addition to it being very episodic, and I do enjoy that. You can jump in. I think you could jump in at any time to Darkwing Duck and catch yourself up in the story, and it's worth it. Very nice work that is going on there. So next one I'm going to talk about is from the same writer that does Barbarians, or excuse me, Barbaric. We have the Mighty Barbarians. It's in a Blaze comic, and I'm very much enjoying it. I love this homage cover. It's so cute. So yes, Michael Morassi doing the story here, taken from inspiration from Robert E. Howard's Kull the Conqueror. So let's see here. Let me get you the rest of that team on this book. Give them a little bit, give them their credit due, because I was not expecting to like this as much. I was considering not reading this, and I convinced myself into it. We've got Michael Morassi, mostly because I really love Barbaric storylines so much. Art by Giuseppe Gaffaro. Colors Barbara Nozeno. Letters Jim Campbell. And like I said, this is inspired by the writing of Robert E. Howard, Lynn Carter. For Thongor. I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing that right. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing Kull correctly. My boyfriend would be yelling at me right now if I got any of this wrong. So good thing he's not in the room. Not really, but he'd be very disappointed that I'm getting any of these names wrong if he were in the room right now with me. But yeah, so definitely, and it's right there in the writing, definitely giving Robert E. Howard and Lynn Carter their due with this story that basically is it's the Mighty Barbarians. It's exactly what it says on the wrapper. Um, and we have a situation where we have these monstrous beings that are attacking different levels of existence, different worlds of existence. And Morgan Le Fay has this idea from the world of King Arthur that she has the ability now to, based on information and ability that she's gotten from one of these dead beings, to pull together like a ragtag group of different beings, different legendary beings from different worlds to um, defeat this threat. And this is basically in a nutshell. She is going along to different areas and convincing everyone that she wants to take part to come with her. Um, and that's the story. That's basically it. Like it's by the end of this first issue, we have um, the last little bit of our group. Cole the Conqueror has joined the the fray, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm having fun reading it. I was considering not even reading it in the first place, but then I did, and I liked it. So let's go ahead and we're going to talk about Superman. Just moving right along, Superman #3. Got a lot of super books going on right now lately. This is by by Joshua Williamson, art by Jamal Campbell. And let me tell you, there are moments in here where Jamal Campbell is, I know it's Superman and everything like that, but guys, he is taking us to the gun show. Um, Massive muscles on Superman here in this. It's like, ooh, no, take a step back, Mr. Campbell. Lovely otherwise. Um, so we have continuation of the story that we started where Parasite is in trouble and Rudy unfortunately has lost control of his abilities, and there are little tiny parasites all over Metropolis, and the only people that can help them are Superman, Lex Luthor, and oh God, what's her name? Mercy, and oh God, what is her name? What is that character's name? Oh my goodness. I'm losing my damn mind, folks. Okay, so I'm gonna like just hold on. Give me a second. This is right near the beginning here. Do they even say her name? That would be a problem if they Livewire. Excuse me. Yes, I'm a dumbass. Livewire. They use the energy from Livewire to pull Parasite in. They give Parasite the ability to fix himself and take care of it from there. Nice little touching moment. Superman doesn't know really what to think of Lex Luthor right now, and he's just like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put faith in this whole situation, and we're gonna just go ahead with it. We're gonna roll with it and see what happens, but be cautious. This is where we're at right now. Of course, it's Lex Luthor. It's a wait and see. So wait and see. So let's go ahead, and we have now entered the top 3 books of our week. And first of all, we're going to talk about a Dark Horse comic. Started out #1, new #1 from Dark Horse, All Eight Eyes. If you have arachnophobia, do not read this, because the idea of really large spiders working in the dark in New York City, and the only people that can help you are random members of the unhomed community. Well, huh. Yeah, that would anybody that has a major spider arachnophobia situation, probably wants to stay away from this book. But I am really loving, particular the art of Piotr Kowalski, who is also on Where Monsters Lie, another book that I have very much enjoyed since it came out. But the rest of the team we got on this, we got Steve Fox, Brad Simpson, and Hassan Odazmain Elihu. Again, if I'm mispronouncing, um, yeah, that sucks. Um, so basically, we have your main character. The main character is having problems. He's getting kicked out of his home, and he's walking the streets of New York at night, and he's smoking pot. So honestly, he comes across what he thinks is some dude killing somebody. Oh my goodness, right? So what he thinks is some dude killing somebody in the park, and when he like is all like up in arms about it, the guy's like, no, 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 you got to come over here, you got to see this. And when he comes over there, he sees this guy has been killing a big spider, huge spider. We're talking not like this, like, like, oh dear fucking god, get away from me. We're like, so we're in between a big huge black widow spider, right? We're size wise, we're in between that and um oh, Lord of the Rings, we're in between that. We're closer to the Black Widow stage than we are with the big Lord of the Rings spider in the cave. um However, they're still really fucking big. Okay. um like, there's nothing nearby me that can really constitute the size of these spiders, but it's between closer to the Black Widow, but like, let's say, like, ooh, like, okay, like, ooh, it could be wingspan of my arms right now, guys. You can't even see my entire arms in this frame. So they're big honking things, right? And so basically, this guy kind of like recruits this guy that's kind of um, in between housing right now, and lets him in on this world where they go around and they hunt these things, and there's more than just this one. And lots of detail in the art, a lot of fun with the story. Another Dark Horse Comics #1 horror based comic that has got my interest, quite frankly. That's why it's in the top 3. So the next one I'm going to talk about is an Image #1 that came out this past week. One of them that I'm gonna tell you is really great, and I'm really interested in this story. Um, Terror War #1. Terror War #1 gives me um, Blade Runner feels a little bit, because you have this inner city, and you have all that, but then you have this whole situation where you have these the art. It's mostly the art that's giving me the Blade Runner vibes, right? um where you have these contractors that are contracted to hunt down and kill terrors. Now, that whole storyline situation made me think of Ghostbusters, quite frankly. It made me think of Ghostbusters because remember that moment in Ghostbusters, and if you've never seen Ghostbusters, God help you. Two, that moment in Ghostbusters where they are battling Zool, and they're like, okay, so choose your opponent, right? And so everybody's like, don't think of anything. And all of a sudden, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is headed towards them. Guys, you know the story. Like I said, if you've never seen Ghostbusters, well then God help you. get thee to whatever you can find Ghostbusters on. I don't even know if it's streaming anywhere, but it has to be somewhere. Streaming somewhere. If you've never seen Ghostbusters, well, then I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, so the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man shows up because um, Ray is like, oh, all I could think of was when I was a Boy Scout at Camp Wakanda, which is a real place, by the way. Um, I thought about the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man having s'mores by the fire when I was a Boy Scout. And so then their Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is there. So basically, these terrors are you develop them in your mind and they manifest, and they are your oh golly, how would you put it? Your worst nightmare imagined. They have no idea when, they know when it started happening, they have no idea how it started happening. So you have these contracted teams that go around and participate in killing these things for bounty money. And yeah, lots of fun. Great concept. Let me give you the team here. We have Ahmad, Acosta, Lessine, Piera, and Lee. Great job. I'm going to be continuing on that one. So my number one book this week is something that not a lot of people are talking about. And since I highlighted how disappointed I was with this writer on another book, I want to actually kind of share in contrast, excuse me, what happens when that writer is handling this precisely correctly, the storyline precisely correctly, and that is going to be Catwoman number 54. I got two covers on this one, baby, and you know what? This is the Sway variant cover. Could not resist. Look at that beauty. But here on the book is Teeny Howard, Leon, and Gandini. Okay, so we have a continuation of this really solid noir kind of story for Catwoman. And I say noir because it's kind of turning the pages and trying to show how Catwoman has the ability and the smarts and the panache to be just as much of a detective in her own right as Bruce Wayne Batman. At this point, Selena Kyle, for the last few issues, has been in prison. She has been putting together her own little girl gang in prison. Nice stuff there. Really good detail in the writing involving the prison dynamic. And I'm saying this not from my own experience, but I am saying this from the experience of people close to me that have actually had the unfortunate experience of being in prison. So they have told me this is good. So I'm going to say I accept their viewpoint on that. So the concept of Catwoman putting together her own girl crew, and she's been doing all this, and they have been constructing this plan to escape. Well, at the end of last issue, the women of the Royal Flush crew that has been working with Punchline show up in prison as they purposely allowed themselves to get arrested so that they could try to encounter Catwoman somehow, figure out who Catwoman is by getting connected with Selena Kyle. Well, they don't even know that Selena Kyle is Catwoman, but they think because Selena Kyle got arrested from that whole situation at the old chemical plant that she knows who Catwoman is. Well, we all know, what they don't know, what we know, So Punchline is the only craziest motherfucker, right? to break into prison because she wants a showdown with Catwoman. Wow. Okay. So Catwoman and her girl gang, Selena and her girl gang, make it a point to use that whole situation to go ahead and um, expedite their prison break, which is successful. And Selena Kyle goes off with her own cat costume to encounter her fill-in during this time, which I fear might be a little too comfortable wearing the Catwoman costume, and that's Eiko. And the way that ends is it looks like we're going to be in for a nice little fun Catwoman versus Catwoman kind of storyline to come, which does very much excite me. Anyways, that's it. That's all I have for you guys this week. Please like, share, subscribe, recommend me to your friends, and please let me know if you have children, teenagers in your life. Do they still do that whole not thing? Like, and do they do it and mean it? Or do they do it and say it like that to be ironic? Gotta actually add that to the whole, like questioning there, because my theory is that teenagers don't actually do that anymore, and I want to know. Tell me, let me know what you thought of the comics this week. Let me know what you thought of what I thought of the comics this week, and yeah, answer that question if you can for me. Anyways, that's it for now. Keep your eyes and ears open. Until next time, keep your eyes and ears open. If you see something, say something, and remember, the complacent never make a difference. Until next time, I'll be seeing ya. Bye.